This episode of The Rookie Hunter is sponsored by North Arm Knives. North Arm Knives are handcrafted and sold directly through a father and son team right here in British Columbia. Choose from a selection of outdoor knives, kitchen knives, and their brand new folding knife from northarmknives.com. They ship internationally and guarantee all their work. Callie and I use their products and give them our stamp of approval. Go to northarmknives.com. Hey guys, welcome to episode 62 of Rookie Hunter. This is part 2 of our bear hunt. Appreciate you guys hanging in there and waiting for the second part. The reason why we split it will become clear quite quickly, and we'll do a bit of a recap at the very end of this episode too to explain some of the reasons why we did it that way. If you guys want to get in touch, we'd love to hear from you. Our email address is info@therookihunter.com. You can check out our website, therookihunter.com. You can stream episodes from the website. You can check out our Instagram feed. You can buy t-shirts too. Those are a good way to support us. So make sure you head over there and check out all that stuff, and make sure you get in touch. We do appreciate iTunes ratings and reviews. We're getting lots of those. So again, big thanks to all you guys leaving those for us. American listeners, we still need some help from you guys down there, just spreading the word. We really appreciate that stuff, guys. So keep them coming. Lots of exciting things coming in the next month or so here. So keep checking back to find out what's coming down the pipe. Just a quick heads up that there's quite a bit of dead air in this episode. And that's because it's a part of the hunt. We wanted to keep it real and raw and uncut. So just bear with that. But you guys have waited long enough for part 2. So you know what to do. Sit back, relax, crack a cold beer, and enjoy part 2 of the bear hunt. I'm gonna have to fucking speed up a little. He stops, he goes broadside just briefly and then keeps going. Oh. Let me know when you're ready. Saw a little dust there. What do you think?
I saw him go. Hey.
Yeah. My ears ringing, I could tell you that much. Okay. Yeah, I definitely saw some dirt.
Was it through him though?
Could have been. The only reason why I'm rushing in is just because we're losing daylight. I want to see if there's any blood or anything. I've got one in here.
definitely, I don't know, my first,
I don't know, was it?
I was down right in here somewhere.
Low? Maybe I was low?
I don't know, man. My first thought was that you hit him.
You jumped up like that.
Yeah. This is the fun bit. Yeah. Just gotta watch for. See if you can see the bullet there.
Up here, right?
Yeah. I thought we'd be able to see where the bullet hit the ground. No. Have to get the headlamps out. Felt like you had it though, eh? We're too far now. I think it was somewhere around here, eh? Yeah. If we can see where that bullet sprayed. Yeah.
Thought he was like right there.
Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, let's get the... Do you want me to wait here just so we've got a rough idea where we were?
Here, I can run back.
Okay. Well, losing sunlight pretty quick here, and I don't know if we got a hit on him. I don't think we did. I think we scared the shit out of him, that much I know for sure. But took off in an awful hurry. Let's see if we can find where the bullet hit the ground. I definitely saw some dirt get kicked up, so should be able to find out where the shot was, and then see if there's any hair or any blood kicking around, and I don't know, have a peek up in the bush here. This is the tricky part, is when you're losing all your daylight and then you gotta go look for a fucking bear. It could get a little interesting. But we'll do our best effort here to make sure. Well, hit pause here. All right, Cal. It's 11:05.
Yeah, spent a little bit of time.
So all the audio's there. Everybody would have heard what happened. Explain what happened.
Well, it was walking away from us at a pretty fairly, like, kind of a brisk pace.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it didn't really seem to care too much, but it wasn't walking slowly. And,
No, slow enough that we could at least keep up to him, no?
Yeah. And all I could see was his ass, like, the whole time.
Yeah.
And I had opportunities, but each time it was just a shot at his ass.
He
So I wasn't gonna
turned,
take
yeah,
that.
broadside a couple times, but it was only for like
Yeah, like
5
a second.
seconds. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not much.
Not enough to actually
No,
get in position.
no.
So yeah, we kind of got to a point where ground sloped down a bit, and he was a ways out, I think about a couple hundred yards anyways.
Yeah, 150-ish is my guess.
Yeah, and he went broadside, and I had the crosshairs on him and pulled the trigger, and he ran up into the woods. And you said you saw a skiff of gravel.
Yeah.
Um,
That's all I can really remember, man, is just a little sort of poof of dirt underneath him.
Yeah, and I thought he jumped up, but I don't know if it was because he was startled or if it was because something hit him.
I do. Man, it's so hard because I know memory is shit, basically. Like, you can convince yourself you saw certain things that didn't actually happen in that.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'm 100% sure of is the dirt underneath. And I'm pretty sure you're right, there was a bit of a jump from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took off like a freight train.
Yeah.
Like gone in seconds, basically.
Thing is, we walked down there. We couldn't see where the bullet hit the ground.
Nope.
We couldn't see any blood. Couldn't see any fur.
Nope.
Couldn't see any tracks from where he would have pushed off the ground.
Yeah.
Or any tracks where he would have jumped into the bank.
Yeah.
And we spent, well, first we ran out of light because we shot the bear, well, tried to shoot the bear, and it was about 15 minutes left of light.
Yeah.
And then after that happened, it just went dark in a hurry.
Yeah, it sure did.
And we're walking around with headlamps trying to figure out if we can find some blood or hair or anything.
But nothing, man.
Couldn't find anything. So I think the plan is to come back up here tomorrow and see what happens. A little more light.
Yeah.
And it's pretty high. Like we're pretty high up the mountain here, so hopefully it's cool enough.
Yeah.
For one night.
I think so, man. It was 6 degrees up there when we left.
Yeah, and it's 11, so it's gonna keep getting cooler.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, it sucks having to leave. Not really being too sure, but us going into dark, fucking shitty timber looking for a bear
That might be wounded.
Yeah, isn't the wisest decision.
Yeah, it's just it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
To like go home, go to bed, and you're still wondering, right?
Yeah.
And it's also extremely disappointing because in my eyes, I thought that was a chip shot, so I'm not really sure
Yeah,
what
I thought
happened.
you had him. Oh, fuck, I'm tired. But yeah, we'll update tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. So hopefully I got some good news.
Hopefully, yeah. Sunday morning. I'm on the dirt road here. I had some commitments this morning, so Kelly got up with the dog and came up first thing this morning, and I got a message from the InReach saying bear down, so I'm on my way up to meet him. This is a pretty interesting experience. I know Kelly was super confident in his shot, which his gut was telling him that he hit the bear. So I think that's something that's important to note. I was less confident. Not that I'm not confident in Kelly. It's just I saw like a burst of gravel that looked like it was underneath the bear. So my thought was that it was a missed shot. Not uncommon, but the bear took off with a lot of speed and a lot of force. So I wasn't too convinced that Kelly got a hit on it. But in these situations, you definitely have to go with your gut. And he went with his and made sure he got up here as fast as he could to make sure that we double checked all the ground that we covered last night. And as we said, we were dealing with very little light, so it was pretty hard to make any real judgment on whether or not the thing was wounded or dead or what. So good on Kelly for getting up here as fast as he could and finding it. I think he found it right away just based on the time he left and the time that I got the message. So pretty exciting. I think he's probably hard at work and probably anxious for me to get up here and help him out. This is a pretty wild experience, I must say, and I haven't even seen the bear yet. I'm quite curious to hear Kelly's thoughts. I hope everything's going okay up here. And my main hope from this bear that we have now is that I can share it. I can share the meat with people. I can share the story, and hopefully, we can change a few minds and make people feel a little bit better, if that's possible, about this whole bear hunting thing. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just realized I took a wrong turn. But I should be up to where Kelly is in about 30 minutes, I believe. And as soon as I get there, I'm going to turn this thing back on, and this story shall continue. Cheers.
Good news today. Couldn't really sleep last night.
Yeah, I bet.
And then woke up super early. Like, I don't know, when did we get to bed last night? Like 1 o'clock, 12:30?
Yeah, I think I rolled in around 12 or something like that.
Yeah, I got home a little bit after and then kind of moseyed around, and I kept reliving that shot over and over in my head. And then when I woke up this morning, I knew, like, I figured with a night's sleep, it'll clear my head a little bit.
Yeah.
And then woke up and knew I had to come back. And I brought Norris, and he found the bear in about 30 seconds.
Nice.
We kind of went straight up the mountain for a while, and then he kept pulling to the left, and then kind of walked through, and it was thick stuff, like he couldn't even hardly get through it.
Oh, yeah.
And then eventually I look over, and 10 feet away there's color phase black bear there.
Cool.
Yeah. We've got Kyle, another rookie hunter, here today. So you had some arrangements this morning, so you couldn't come out right away, and I didn't know if you were going to be able to come up, so I called Kyle.
Nice. Yeah,
He's
no,
in
as soon as
town.
I got the message, I was heading back to get up here as quick as I could.
Yeah.
Get some ice, but yeah.
Yeah, so the bear's in the cooler.
All the work is done.
But yeah, I felt like, I feel so much better.
Yeah, I bet.
Like, I felt like I shot him exactly where I wanted to last night, and I couldn't figure out why we couldn't find him or why we couldn't see any sign. So to know that I got him, and like, he literally died within 10 seconds.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you always think about like the worst case scenario, like
Mhm.
when you have to leave because it's too dark. And you're like, fuck, it's
Yeah.
wounded. It's like, still walking around out there, but
Yeah,
that wasn't
and
the case.
he's not the biggest bear, but like when you see, especially when it's your first bear strength is a real thing, I think. But and then when you shoot the bear and then you're looking for it, you don't want to chase it into the woods no matter how big it is.
Yeah.
And I think that was our main concern, is that it went dark fast right afterwards.
Yeah.
We didn't want to put ourselves in danger. So on the other hand, it's a hell of a drive to get up here.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been awesome to just camp overnight. We probably would have found it in the morning, but
Yeah.
a couple of things I learned. One, when you take a shot at a bear, you may not see blood and fur, even if you have a perfect shot. Like, the bullet actually exited the bear.
Oh, mosquitoes, man.
And I still didn't see any sign after, even when I knew where he was.
Right.
And then the other thing, if you can, it's probably a good idea to bring some camp equipment,
Yeah.
because you're going to shoot a bear. It's going to be last few minutes of light.
Remember last night when we were driving, I said that a couple years back, a guy wrote in and said, when you guys finally get a bear, it's going to be last light, and you're going to be digging around in the dark bush trying to find it. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then the other thing is bring a dog with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can only hunt them with a leash, but
I think you can do it without, actually.
for bear.
Yeah, because you can
Oh, right.
tree them.
But yeah, I mean, just in terms of searching for the bear afterwards, bring a dog,
For sure.
because he was a lifesaver. I probably, who knows if I would have found him,
Yeah.
because he was hidden. He was like under kind of a big clump of trees, but he knew right away, and we couldn't see anything last night.
Nothing.
So
Sweet. Well,
yeah, mission accomplished.
good job, man. Now we got to make
Yeah.
some sausages or something.
Yeah. Thanks to you guys for coming up.
Cool.
We're getting eaten alive out here.
Yeah, we are.
So cheers.
Cheers.
Success.
Success. So, Kelly, it's been a week and a couple days. Week and a day, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at?
Where am I at? Where am I at with the experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we've had time. It's settled down, had time to reflect. And, ultimately, well, the first thing is I'm happy how it all worked out,
Yeah, me too.
because I think it could have worked out. My concern was, like we discussed, that it was going to maybe go the other way.
Yeah.
And that was going to be an extreme disappointment on many levels. But I think it worked out the best it could have, right?
Yeah.
Recovered the bear fast. Evident that there was no suffering on the bear's part. Those are like the two. I mean, it would have been nice to recover the bear right after we pulled the trigger, but sometimes that's just not the way it goes. And it was a lot of work, like any animal, any big game animal.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, and I think it should be a lot of work. So
Yeah, me too. That's the fun part.
yeah,
It's the shitty part and the fun part, because
Mhm.
it's in some ways it's the reward for all the time and effort you put into these things, right?
Mhm.
Should we backtrack and tell guys why we did this as a 2-part episode?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we, in a sense, we're trying to put the audience in that state of waiting,
Yeah, not knowing.
because that's what we were going through that night, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have to wait 7 days, so
However, it felt like an eternity when you go home. We got home around 12 o'clock at night, and you're just laying there in bed, just like, what happened? Where's that bear?
Mhm.
Did we get him? Is he wounded? All that stuff's going through your head. It feels like
Yeah.
it's the worst feeling, man.
Yeah, and you can probably tell I got really quiet on the way back down in the
Yeah.
truck there,
Yeah.
and it's more of just like, it's so many emotions, but like, I don't know, it's just frustration and disappointment with yourself mainly.
Yeah.
Like I was confident that I hit him, and that it was just baffling to me, like what the events that happened after that. But also, like, in hindsight, I don't think I expected it to get that dark that quickly either. Like, in that moment, I was not thinking about, I was thinking mainly about doing my job with the bear, because we waited 3 years for that opportunity.
Yeah.
But having looked back at it, I don't know if I would have. I think I would rather be in a position where I didn't have to worry about light and recovering a bear.
100% agree.
Yeah.
It's one of those things too, man. It's like, so we spotted the bear with quite a bit of daylight, right? By the time I got the recorder out of my pack, it was starting to fade by that point. And I think we even said that we had felt like about 15 minutes of shooting light left. Best case scenario, the bear hooks a right and goes into a clearing. Worst case scenario, it hooks a left and goes into the timber, which is like, you go from an open area to the timber, and it's literally like night and day.
Yeah, like where it's almost like Vancouver Island. Like when you get into that thick timber and it's all moss on the ground, like you're walking and you're sinking 6 feet or 6 inches into moss. That's what it was like in there.
Yeah.
There's no light.
Yeah. So little did we know it wasn't that far from where you had shot it, thankfully, because we know it died quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we were probably doing circles right around the thing and
100%.
couldn't see it at all.
Yep. But yeah, and that's the other thing is, it was in a kind of a depression in the ground.
Yeah.
With a bunch of brush and yeah, it's
Which sounds like it's pretty common. They'll find a hole to crawl up into. And
yeah, for sure. But like, just I think it took a few bounces and it made it in there, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
I just like when it's that, it gets dark up there. It gets darker than it does in a city.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I think both of us were thinking we don't want to go rooting around in that. There's like 3 feet between each tree.
Well, yeah, and it's all windfall, so it's
a windfall.
pretty.
You can hear it creaking in the episode.
Yeah, you can.
So,
which is kind of cool. For anybody wondering, yeah, all that stuff was recorded in real time, and all I did was stick the zoom in my bino harness. So that's why you can hear the rustling. And that's why I'm louder than you. But pulled it out of my pack and just jammed it in there, threw the pack back on, and then hit record, and that's what we got. So apologize for all the, the dead air and stuff like that, but we thought it would kind of make it more interesting and realistic to listen to, and kind of put people right in the hunt with us.
Yeah, I think the other, that Zoom mic has already kind of paid off, right? This is kind of a thing we picked up recently, but
yeah,
that to be able to do things like that with it is pretty cool to bring people along, right?
For sure.
But in terms of the hunt too, where that bear was located, being, I have the waypoint on my GPS and it was at 5,200 feet.
Yeah.
I think it was 1,587 meters. And that is pretty high for the Okanagan Plateau.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful that it happened at that location because it kept things cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I said in there too, but it was like 6 degrees as we were leaving at 11.
At 11, yeah.
Something rather. So I'd imagine it probably got down to maybe 2 degrees or something like that. So it kept the bear nice and cool, luckily.
Yeah. And that mossy ground, that cool mossy ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it would have been well shaded in the timber too, but you were up there bright and early anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Anything other than lighting that you would do differently?
I think I mentioned this kind of when we all met up there at the end. I think if I was to go on another evening bear hunt, I would do it with camp gear, and I would plan on the potential for having to camp there.
Yeah.
Just in case that situation ever did happen, then you're there and you can do things as early as possible.
Yeah. That
was another thing because you're probably going to get a bear in the evening. That's just, that's when they're active.
Yeah.
A lot of them are almost like totally nocturnal, I think. So, I don't think it's an uncommon situation. I think you just want to be prepared for it too. Yeah. I mean, I touched on this too, that when we saw the bear, I think the bear's I measured it. It was 5 feet from the nose to the tail. So it wasn't like a super small bear, but it wasn't a super big bear. And I think it's hard to judge the bears like that size, like to figure out if the bear is 5 feet or 6 feet or, maybe you could tell if it was 7 feet. It's not really about the size for me. It's more about just, how much meat is on the bear. Are you taking a bear that's too young?
Yeah.
You're kind of trying to, calculate all that stuff. And I don't know. I feel like that takes time to learn. You should spend a lot of time watching bears.
Yeah.
To get better at that. This experience is definitely adding to my knowledge of that whole
concept.
And I think if I was going to go bear hunting again, definitely going to be very, patient, picky, and not because it's a trophy, but because, I just don't want to make sure you take something that's going to provide a lot of the benefits that you're out there trying to gather, right?
For sure. Yep. That's why we're there, is to you know, it doesn't have to be the biggest animal, but it's got to be something that's going to provide.
Mm-hmm.
And the other cool thing that you're doing is you're doing the hide too.
Yeah, so I just can't bring myself to throw it away.
It's cool hide too, man.
Yeah. I just think that it's a byproduct of hunting.
Yep.
And with a fur-bearing animal like that, it's really nice. It's like 3-4 inch hair on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's light brown. It kind of goes to black on the edges, and
Got a darker.
I don't know, I think it would be a shame to just do nothing with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it exactly, but you can throw it in the freezer, put it in, double bag it in a
Yep.
garbage bag, throw it in the freezer. Don't salt it if you're gonna do that.
Oh, okay.
Is what the taxidermist told me. So, I mean, if you're going to deal with it right away, then salting and all that kind of stuff's good prep for bringing it in. But if you're going to just store it and decide what to do with it later, then don't put any salt on it.
Interesting. It's a
Yep.
good tip.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a few options for meat. We haven't really decided what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Bratwurst is an option. Pepperoni is an option.
Yep. Summer sausage.
And it kind of depends. Like there's a ham that we could do.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends if we want to put that into getting processed. It just depends on how much meat we need and how much needs to be divided for each thing that we decide to do. So
Yeah. I feel like fall bear, you probably get more weight, like more meat off of it.
yeah, you'd have the ability to do quite a few different things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also the fat too, right?
Yeah.
There's just way more fat on a fall bear.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's that to consider. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what we can do with this thing.
Yeah, me too. We won't name the butcher, but you had an interesting experience.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just, I phoned and asked, do you guys work with bear? And I kind of got a snarky response that, they don't work with it. And I said, well, do you know anybody that does in town? And they just said, well, no, you're just going to have to phone around. But there's just a bit of attitude there.
Yeah.
And usually, like, I've never had that experience with them. They've always been great. I just felt like,
No, and they do wild game.
yeah, and they do elk, moose, like basically anything else, but
Yeah.
apparently just not bear. So I don't know. I find that a little bit irrational, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting, man. It's one thing to not do it, but maybe provide a reason
mm-hmm,
for why, and that's
Mhm.
acceptable.
mm-hmm.
But just to be kind of rude and flat out, say no and not be too helpful beyond that is
Yeah.
an interesting response. I don't really get that, but whatever.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like a trichinosis based type thing or whatever, but if that's it, then just say we don't work with it because of XYZ.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that is the issue. I think that's something you can work around,
Yeah.
but who knows? I felt like it was a kind of emotional driven.
Yeah, you got some attitude, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we shall take our business elsewhere. And we got two people actually, one after another said to check out this other butcher. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll do that one.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of a German family that owns it. So that seems fitting.
Yep.
I just got back from there and
You can talk to him in German.
yeah, not quite, but yeah, man. So that'll be cool. I'm hoping next time we're in here, maybe we're going to be sampling some meat.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you want to add to the experience, man? I think this is something I would do again. I'm yet to try the meat, but there's nothing to indicate why the meat is going to be bad. There was no odor. It
No.
didn't have a fish diet. There's nothing that would really get in the way of it being good meat. So
No, it was very far removed from, any city or whatever. Just
Mhm.
wilderness bear.
yeah,
Super healthy. But yeah, I know. I think like the segment you did earlier in the episode was good, talking about, stepping back and asking ourselves why we do this, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just bear, it's any animal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we have to consider that our actions are serious, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just all play and fun and anything like that. We take the actions we do seriously. And I think the hunter is dealing with a lot of those emotions and empathy and like reverence and all these things in the act of hunting and pulling the trigger. You hear from multiple guys that, you know, pulling the trigger isn't really what this is all about, and it's actually a lot of people's least favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of gets brought out too a little bit more with bear hunting, like even for the hunter. I don't know if it's just, you know, it's the first bear I've hunted, and it seems to just carry a little more weight with it.
Yeah. I think so.
You found that?
Yeah, I had a bit of an experience afterwards. I won't get into detail on it, but it just made me sort of reflect on why we do it, just like you were saying, and what's important to me. And I basically came to like 3 main points for me to ask myself when I go into each season, or just to remind myself, and they're pretty basic points.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, to be respect the life of the animals you pursue.
Yeah.
It's kind of a no-brainer. Only take what you need. There's no sense in having a freezer that's overflowing with meat if you're not going to eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like take the whole animal, but don't take like 7 animals if you only need 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't take any unnecessary risks as far as, you know, taking a bad shot or, you know, that idea just came from shooting late at night.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element of risk involved there.
Yeah.
We had the best case scenario in the end, but
Mm-hmm.
there's risk there, right? So you can apply that to just about anything, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Not, you know, knowing the species you're going after, if it's legal or not, right? It's easy to get excited in the moment. You just have to stop and slow down and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you follow those 3 basic points, there's no reason why anybody should tell you what you're doing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was trying to, you know, I'm trying to think of the big game animal as, you know, a sustainable resource that we are using in a responsible way, right?
Yeah.
We want these animals there perpetually. Just because we hunt one of the individual animals doesn't mean we want to extirpate them or,
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just felt like for me, some people might ask, well, why don't you just hunt more deer? Why don't you hunt more elk? Why do you have to hunt a bear? But it's more about like the opportunities, I think.
Yeah. You don't want to eat chicken every day.
Yeah. I mean, you get a new chance it's like culinary ingredient.
Exactly.
You get a new culinary ingredient. And in order to get that, you had to go to new spots in new seasons and environments and learn new things, right?
Yeah.
And participate in a different experience.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that involved.
Yeah.
It's a new challenge too. Emotionally, mentally, physically. So I think that's why people hunt different things.
Yeah, I agree, man. Just because potatoes are readily available doesn't mean you should eat potatoes every day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's,
and it's like fishing too. Like what? Yeah, we could catch kokanee every day.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go to the island
and halibut
and go get halibut.
Everything else, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just a different approach to cooking and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there'll be different flavors. And we both have really taken to cooking now because of this whole thing. And it's just a new experience, a new approach to preparing it. So,
yeah. And there's the other aspect of like predator hunting or management.
Yeah.
But I can't say that's like why I would bear hunt.
No, and I'm not sure if that applies to this hunt.
Like I do think it's a valid point in a way. I just don't think that's why I bought a bear tag.
Yeah, I agree. And and I'm not sure if in this region, if that's maybe it is. I don't really see it as a huge problem, but from region to region, bears might be a bigger problem and have a bigger impact on other wildlife.
Yeah,
where
there's
that
a lot of
point
regionality.
might have a bit more weight to it. But yeah.
I think I don't know. It's just kind of I'm trying to think of like rational, logical, why is it ethical? Why is it responsible? Why is it sustainable? All that kind of stuff. Instead of like, bears are cute.
Yeah.
Which I think they are. I think they're amazing.
They're super cool.
But, it doesn't mean that I think they're any less amazing just because I hunted one.
Yeah, for sure.
Or that, you won't.
Yeah, man. The thing is like, so going through this process kind of reminded me of the first time. Well, it was a little bit of a heavier situation when I shot the first whitetail way back, however many years ago that was now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of stuff goes through your mind, but since then we've shot a number of different ungulates, and it's no less impactful. But I don't know, doing the bear, it being a totally different species, kind of set me back to the beginning again, and just making me look at things from a different angle, and just thinking about my impact and why we do this and why it's important. And yeah,
it's good to step back for sure.
Yeah. So I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be the last bear. I'm not like, ready to go and look for another one. I feel content now. And if the opportunity comes up, I still have a bear tag too. So if we see something in the fall, then maybe.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes. But I don't know. I'm glad we did it, and I'm excited to try the meat and to share it with people and see what they think of it. The biggest obstacle I think for people is them thinking that you can't eat it and that it's not good.
Yeah.
So that's the part that really bugs me, and what I hope to achieve with this is to say, like, here, try this pepperoni. Pepperoni is a pretty
accessible
thing to try, right?
Yeah.
And it's likely going to be pretty good. So if someone says, wow, that's amazing, I didn't know you could eat bear, then cool.
And then you can kind of work into some more different entrees or whatever, right?
I'm looking forward to, I think I'm doing this in July. I'm going to bring some of the film crew over to my place to try some wild game.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just kind of a thank you to all the people that I work with while I was there, because we had an awesome group, but also an opportunity for me to serve all this stuff to people. So I think I have a little bit of elk left, a tiny bit, and then I'm going to be grinding up the mule deer this week. So I might do some venison burgers for them, and hopefully have some pepperoni, and do a charcuterie board beforehand with some stuff like that. So I'm excited about it. I gave them a heads up. They're all excited about it too. So yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, man, that's why we do it. I'm getting super pumped just talking about that.
That's great. Yeah, I think like ideally with this podcast too, it's kind of, maybe explaining or portraying to people that hunters aren't just, a bunch of maniacs and killers, right? Like we are considerate and only, it goes back to your three kind of principles, right? Yeah. Like, so, and I think too, like when you take an animal like a deer or a bear, you kind of, in exchange for that, you kind of feel, well, you are obligated to advocate for them and their habitat, right? Yeah. And that kind of, I don't know, that's like a weight that you kind of take on as a hunter. Yeah. I mean, it's not all just take. You kind of have to think about what you're doing and what you can do to help them. Yeah. Not go, lose habitat or go extinct or whatever. Like it's about keeping them on the landscape. Totally. This podcast has been brought to you by Muffler Pro. Yeah. It's kind of that we're back into that little in between now where we're waiting for September to roll around. Although I think snowshoe hare comes back in August,
I'll have to check.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We don't actually have the new regulations.
Yeah, I
past
know.
July, I believe.
Yeah.
So we need to get that book so we can start planning out. And also, I think we're going to get the results from the LEH in the next couple weeks.
I hope so.
Mid June has been the last 2 years is when it's come
Right.
out. So
They extended the application process too, because that
Sure.
shitty website was crashing on everybody.
for 5 days, yeah, they extended it.
Fuck.
So
So-
I'm hoping still by the 15th.
Yeah,
That's when we'll see it.
that'd be nice. That's not
Yeah.
too far away.
I see a Cali Bighorn in our future.
Wouldn't that be nice? I haven't.
I want to taste that.
Yeah, me too. I haven't drawn for anything, so maybe it's all leading up to that, Kelly.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get something
Yeah, we haven't had much luck, eh? Like I just had
antlerless mule deer, and that was it.
and that's between 4 of us over the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And we put in for just about everything
Mm-hmm.
except for bison, which maybe we should do.
Have to do like a Sundance or something, like some ceremony to try to get some luck.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Well, cool, man. Before we wrap up here, anything else you want to add?
I don't know. I guess just thankful for the experience and, being able to harvest a bear. And I don't think it'll be the last one. I think just excited to use the food and share the food.
Yep.
And then, like you said, I don't think it's going to be we're rushing out there to fill another tag right away, but
No.
it might be more of a once a year type thing or
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm pretty excited, pretty grateful. Pretty wild experience that led to lots of reflection. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a win-win all around, and everything worked out. So
Mhm.
again, appreciate guys holding on for part 2, and hopefully you forgive us now that you know why we did it. We knew it was gonna upset a few guys, and we got some pretty hilarious comments that they seemed a little aggravated, but just anxious and joking at the same time. So
I don't think they stopped following us, but
no.
yeah.
So there you go.
It'll be fine for the people that listen now because
They can go back to back.
yeah, they just go back to back. It's like having Netflix or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we punished the most hardcore fans. The ones that are up to date, those are the ones that had to wait the
Yeah.
7 days.
Hey, we got to have some fun with this thing too. So
Yeah, but they ultimately got to live the most real experience.
yeah, I hope so. And if you guys have any feedback on this one, definitely send it in.
Mm-hmm.
Be curious to hear your thoughts on it. And
Yeah, and let us know how you're doing with your bear
yeah.
season.
yeah, and if you guys have any recipes or any good eats that came out of it, let us know what you did with it. Curious to
Mhm.
hear. And like I say, hopefully we're sampling next time we're in here.
Mhm.
Some beer and some pepperoni would be pretty awesome.
Yogi Roni.
Yeah, Yogaroni. Nice, man. I think that's it for me.
Sounds good.
Okay, buddy. Cheers.
Danke.